talking to myself. This is what you're needing, cause you know that Jesus is the reason for the season. All about faith, cartoons and gaming, holiday movies, we keep it entertaining. Dave Sands the second hosting the show, so put your Christmas lights up while you watch them glow. It's all about spending time with friends and family. God is always with us, Matthew 1:23, let's go.
Mic check 1, 2, 3, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of the. I keep forgetting that the intro is a Christmas one, but here we go. Talking to myself, hey, this is what you need, and hey, cause you know that Jesus is the reason for the season. All about faith, hey, cartoons and gaming, holiday movies. What we keep it entertaining. Hi. I hope everyone who is listening to this is doing extremely well. Your host with the very most, talking to myself with Dave Sands. Numero dos. We back, man. Microphone in the hand. This is episode 20. That's 20 in Spanish. 20 episodes, ladies and gentlemen. Crazy. 20 episodes. That's a lot of talking to myself. Yeah, I can't believe it. We made it to 20, man. I don't know if those who recall, but I remember telling about someone who commented on one of my posts on YouTube saying that, you know, most podcasts don't make it past 21 episodes, and man, we're one away. Next week, hey, we've made it. We've made it to 20 episodes by the grace of God, so it's an absolute blessing to be here. So, as always, thank you for all those who are listening and those who say very kind words. Again, it motivates me to keep going, because some days, oh my goodness, I would just want to put the mic down. But no, we're here. We got the mic up. As usual, we have a very exciting episode. I feel like this is just kind of like a recap episode in terms of like life, you know. Not really any big topics standing out. I don't know. Maybe we'll figure out the topic along the way. But as always, we move. And so, you know, for those who may be listening for the first time, leave a 5-star review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We are 1 subscriber away from 20 subscribers. Get it? Because like that'd be kind of cool. Like every episode, I get like 1 subscriber, so it means I have to do like 1 million episodes if I want 1 million subscribers. Anyway, but yeah, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, please drop a subscribe. And yeah, thank you so much for listening. And you know, let's get right into it, man. So, what are we talking about today? I guess first off, we'll talk about how the week has been. Kind of weird week. I don't know. Maybe it's just like the shift in the month. But you know, today I'm actually recording this on November 30th, which means tomorrow is the first day in December. I mean, I've been on Christmas time since we've bumped into November, but we will officially be in the Christmas season tomorrow. And I mean, that means, you know, 24 days till Christmas, everything, movies, food, all of that. And, you know, Christmas is absolutely my favorite time of year, you know, and so I'm just really excited to be back in the Christmas season again. I don't know about any of you, but this Christmas season actually feels like Christmas. Like, for a while, the last few years, maybe due to COVID, it really didn't feel like Christmas. It didn't feel like, you know, Christmassy, if that makes sense. But, you know, I'm feeling the jingle bells rocking. I hear them sleigh bells slinging. And, of course, Jesus is the reason for the season. All song references, by the way. And so, yeah, bro, I am ready for Christmas. I am ready to go. I guess within the same breath of the Christmas discussion, if you will, I made a poll, as I normally do, when I want to reach the masses on my social media platform, asking what is your favorite Christmas song. And I mean, there are so many bangers. There are so many great Christmas songs out there. And I wanted to know, you know, what do people then think of songs. And so, you know, I got some responses back. Thank you all for those that responded. And, you know, I listened to it if I've never listened to the song, and we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna talk about some of my favorites, and we'll keep moving from there. So yeah, favorite Christmas song. What is your favorite Christmas song? And so I got 7 responses. Okay, so the first one was from one of my homies, and he said, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch." But it's like a different version. It's like a rap version from like a animated, not anime, because the Grinch movies are anime except the Jim Carrey one, which is really good. But it's like a new like iteration of the Grinch song. And I listened to it. It's not bad. You know what I'm saying? It's not bad. It has a little bit of beat to it. I'll give him that. I'll give you that, bro. But I definitely prefer like the original one where homie's just like, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch." Yeah, I just, you really oughta know, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a... And then he's just like, I don't know, I forgot. How long is the pole? I'm just going to say a very long foot pole. Yeah, that one. That version to me, that one slaps because that is the classic Grinch. You know what I mean? Actually, favorite Grinch movie, there's two that I think of. I think of like the first animated one, and then you got like the Jim Carrey boy, like the live action Grinch movie. Yeah, that one. That from I'm just looking it up now, from 2000. What a year. From How the Grinch Stole Christmas, that 2001. Absolute classic. You cannot make a better Grinch movie than that, in my opinion. That movie absolutely is a banger. I love it, so it's really good. I enjoy that one. So yeah, You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch. The rap version, not too bad, but I definitely prefer the OG one. Now, my homie gave me another one. Fa La La, Fa La La, Justin Bieber featuring Boys to Men. I bumped that thing. Listen here. That thing slapping, That thing slapping. That's a good one. JB was like, I hear melodies when your heart beats, and I was just like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, bro. You do love her. You know what I mean? I think when I think of Justin Bieber Christmas music, I was definitely think of like Mistletoe, It's the most beautiful time of the year. Do 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 do. And I should be playing in the winter snow, but I'ma be under the mistletoe. And he's like, ooh, ooh, shorty with you, ooh, ooh, shorty with you, ooh, ooh, and under the mistletoe. Yeah, that one is what I was thinking when I think of like Justin Bieber Christmas music and like Little Drummer Boy, Rubber Bum Bum Bum. Yeah, come on, we like those songs. But yeah, Fa La 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 by Justin Bieber, and featuring Boys to Men, by the way, absolute banger. I can agree with that. It is a banger. I do enjoy it. Someone also mentioned that it's impossible to choose. And I was just like, choose. But no, I can understand why it's hard to choose because, like I said before, there are some absolute bangers. Of course, Mariah Carey has Defrosted. And so All I Want for Christmas Is You was just going to be literally in every mall in America, in the Bahamas, just everywhere. Because, like, it's crazy you can make, like, a song or rather a album that literally, when a season comes around, people think about, like that album. It's crazy. But actually, from that album that she did, I was listening to what's the song called? Is it like Oh What a Wonderful Child? I think it's that. Is it that? Oh, what? Jesus, Oh What a Wonderful Child. Listen to me. That boy slapping. If you never heard that, look it up. Jesus, Oh What a Wonderful Child. The last part of it where it goes into like a gospel breakdown and the chorus and this what, like that last part, like I don't know why I never like remember that song, when I don't know, I just forgot about the song because obviously it comes around every Christmas, right? But yeah, that song slaps. If you never listen to that, trust me, that thing got range. She got some range in there. Continuing on, one of my other homies said the song that I was using on my actual post is an absolute banger, and that song is "Jesus Is the Reason," or was rather, "Jesus Is the Reason for the Season" by Kirk Franklin. And let me tell you something, that song is an absolute banger. That's why I put it there. That song slaps, you know. It's just like and then Kirk's like, Santa Claus ain't got none on this. Jesus season, yeah, yes, and the choir in the back, yes. It was just like yeah, I really like that song. And it's not Reason, by the way. I saw like a funny Instagram post on it. It's like, it's not Reason, it's Reason. Jesus is the reason for the season, yeah. But really good song. Definitely a good choice and a fan favorite to the talking to myself community. Another one we had is Christmas Shoes song. I never heard that song before. And so I actually listened to it prior to press and record on the show. And I hope this is the right version. The one I listened to is the Christmas Shoes by New Song. I hope that was the right version. But my goodness, I didn't realize what the song was about. I was listening to it. It was like, it's a slow but beautiful song, has a really good melody. But then when you tap into the words, it's like a really sad song, actually. It's like, essentially the premise of it is like, it's this song about a little girl who's trying to find the right shoes for her mother, just in case like she passes away during this Christmas season. And that's so sad, bro. That was so sad. I was just like, bro, I didn't expect to be like in my feelings listening to the song. Like, you chuck that in like you chuck that in a movie, that could bring tears to the eyes for sure. But it's also a very powerful song, because it's saying like, even though the mother may, pass away during the Christmas season, it says that, if mama meets Jesus tonight. And so, I mean, it's a song of, sadness and, the possibility of, someone passing away. But it's also this idea like she may be meeting our Lord and Savior. And so the juxtaposition of that, I mean, it's such a beautiful song in that way. I don't know how many times I could personally listen to it, because I could definitely get in the feels. But beautiful song nonetheless, very deep meaning, and good song. The next one that we have is Carol of the Bells by David Foster. Now, of course, there are so many renditions of Carol of the Bells. My personal favorite, which I grew up on, is Carol of the Bells by Kenny Rogers, which I really, really like. I mean, obviously, grew up to it, so I have like an emotional attachment to the song. But this version of it by David Foster, I mean, you chuck that in a Broadway musical, because you could, I mean, obviously, from his biography that I kind of saw on Spotify, it's just like beautiful, like, it's just this beautiful, orchestraic, if that's a word, piece of music. You could hear the orchestra. It's just loud. It's just, oh my goodness. Like, you put that in a Broadway musical, like, I'm sitting there, I'm just going to be enjoying the thing. And I love me some Broadway. So I really enjoy that song. It absolutely slaps. We'll call that a certified banger, mate. And we keep it moving. So yeah, very good song. And then the final submission to the question, again, what is your favorite Christmas song? Is I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. And obviously it's a fan favorite. It's a classic. I saw mommy. I don't know why I went to a high voice. I'm not going to do that full song in a high voice. But I Saw Mommy Kissing Santa Claus. Absolute favorite. Classic song. Yes, we do enjoy that song. And yeah, it was really good. So yeah, that's all the submissions that we received from the poll. Tune in next week where we'll do another one. I don't know about what yet. Maybe I do, actually. Do I? Hold on. Do I? I may. I think I do. Yeah. We're gonna have polls for the rest of the year. Basically, I want to keep getting people involved and get people active in the show. So yeah, very good answers. Thank you, and thank you again. That was really good. I fully enjoyed that. But yeah, speaking about malls and music and malls. I actually just recently came back from a trip. I had a little weekend trip. It was really fun. Needed to break the cycle, if you will, break the monotony of life, and so it was a really enjoyable one. Kind of like a weekend trip. Just popped over to the States, and just kind of like hung out. I saw the Orlando Magic play the Boston Celtics, and I have a couple of things that I want to say about that. First and foremost, who knew the Orlando Magic is good? Back in the day, and when I say back in the day, I mean like maybe like 2-3 years ago, the Orlando Magic was an easy victory for all teams. That was an instant W. I think right now the Orlando Magic is on, and I think it's a 8-game winning streak. Is it 8 or 9? Because they literally just beat another team. They beat the Washington Wizards, I think, in the in-season tournament game. Let me see. I believe they're on an 8-game winning streak. I'm going to clarify this, ladies and gentlemen. Just give me a second as I, just do what I do when I don't know. And that's Google, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, they're on an 8-game winning streak. Second in the Eastern Conference, actually right behind the Boston Celtics. 13-5, the Orlando Magic. What? I can't believe it, bro. I cannot believe it. 13-5. That's better than my Lakers. My Lakers are 11-8 right now, but we're not going to talk about them because we want to have fun on the show. I do not want to get stressed and/or sad. But yeah, man, the Orlando Magic played the Boston Celtics. I had some really good seats. And seeing home court advantage live, I don't think most times that I've visited the Orlando Magic, it's literally for the opposing team. It's literally for, my Los Angeles Lakers. Or I think the other case, it was to see like LaMelo Ball, because the Charlotte Hornets played the Orlando Magic, right? This time, my Lakers wasn't there. I just went to just enjoy basketball, and I wanted to see a game. And so, I was actually low-key rooting for the Orlando Magic. I'm not a Boston guy. Do like Jason Tatum because he's just tough, really good at the game. But I'm standing with the Orlando Magic crowd, and that home court advantage is a real thing. Like, you know how like analysts describe the arena as like electric? It was electric there, bro. The fans were going crazy. I was even going crazy. I was just there, solo dolo. But you couldn't tell me I was calling plays like for Pablo to like swing the ball out so that homie could hit 3 in the corner, bro. It's just really, really good. Like, it was a really good game. Actually, there's this thing that happens at games, and it depends on the restaurant. But restaurants, from me going to Orlando Magic games, it's like restaurants would be like if the opposing team misses 2 foul shots, when they go to the line, then everybody in the arena wins like a sandwich. And so Chick-fil-A, I love Chick-fil-A, but Chick-fil-A did that, right? It's like if the opposing team like missed 2 foul shots, then everyone in the same gets like a chicken sandwich, bro. And so the Boston Celtics missed 2 foul shots. I forgot who did it, but then the roof came off the place. Like, the guy behind me was hilarious. He was just like, Chick-fil-A! And I was just like, in my mind, Chick-fil-A! And then what I eat that day, Chick-fil-A! I'll stop. But yeah, it was really good. Electric environment. Oh, and to see an in-season tournament game, I mean, it's a spectacle, right? To like see like the different, the different courts that they have, and it was just a beautiful environment to be in. Love that. Love basketball. And it was really good. I definitely enjoyed the game, and frankly just enjoyed that trip. I think it was just extremely enjoyable just to kind of get away for a minute, reset the mind. And we're coming into the last year, the last month of the year, going into 2024. I don't want to get into like the New Year's podcast, because I'm gonna have my time there for what I want to say there. But it's just crazy, man. This year in general has gone by so quickly. It just has, man. It's been a long year for me for sure. Again, that'll come in like the recap for the New Year's pod. But it's been a long year, man. And to be in this moment, to be here on the cusp of another December, absolute blessing. Don't take it for granted whatsoever. And just happy to be here, man. And so yeah, we move. But yeah, I guess on the more I guess the faith aspect of the show. I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the story, not the story of Jacob, but just like a story about Jacob. And so just to give like a very brief synopsis, where you can find the story of Jacob is in Genesis, right? And so if we go back for a little bit, Abraham had two sons, and I was supposed to look this up. I was supposed to listen to the pronunciation before this. Actually, what is I gonna do it now? Pronunciation. Just give me a minute, y'all. Just think you're on Jeopardy, when you're just writing down your answer. Esau. Because I was gonna say Esau, but Jacob had two sons, Esau, which did not come from his wife Sarah. That came from Hagar. Very different story. Definitely a different story. But yeah, he had two sons, Esau and Jacob. Jacob came from Sarah, who was Abraham's wife, and Esau came from Hagar, who was Sarah's. What was she? She was Sarah's. No, let me find this. Son is promised to Sarah. I can't remember the name. Oh, I'm sorry. No. I apologize. Hagar actually birthed Ishmael. Yes. Okay. Yes. There we go. Didn't mean to mix this up, y'all. My apologies. So yeah, let me just make sure I have my footing right. So yes, Sarah gave birth to Isaac, and where is this? So she gave birth to Isaac, and where does Isaac and Jacob, right? Yes. Why am I confused now? Give me 1 second, y'all. Un momento. Okay, we are back. There's been so much mix-up in my brain. I'm sorry, y'all. But yes, here we go again. So, welcome back. Abraham had two sons. Abraham had Isaac with Sarah, and he had another son named Ishmael with Hagar. Okay? A lot of drama that came with that, but just stick with me. So Isaac, who married, is it Rebecca? I believe it was Rebecca. Yes, Isaac, who married Rebecca. Yes, Isaac, who married Rebecca. He had two sons. Those sons were Jacob and Esau. Yep, is that biblically correct? Yes, there it is. Okay, we got there in the end. So yes, Rebecca had two sons, Isaac and Jacob, right? Isaac and Jacob, and there you could do like many studies on this, but Isaac kind of followed in his father's footsteps. In some ways, kind of like he deceived the people of Abimelech. But we'll talk about that another time. Let's focus on Jacob here. So Jacob stole Esau. Esau is the older brother in this, well, not in this case, but he's the older brother to Jacob. And Jacob stole Esau's blessing. When Abraham was really old, essentially it was just like Abraham was going to bless the firstborn, which was Esau. But Rebecca kind of came up with this scheme for Jacob to be like, hey, go steal Esau's blessing, which I still need to fully study because that's such a crazy thing for me. But that's what happened. Jacob stole Esau's blessing. The blessing of that time, there's a note in the study Bible. Blessing in that time wasn't like a mutual fund or like a 401k plan like we kind of have in today's society, but rather was like blessed with like lands, farms, animals, cattle, all those different things. Was kind of like the blessing there, which Jacob stole. And so fast forward through all of that, there's a story that I read today actually, and it now talks about which one was it? I believe it was Padam made children the image. Yes. Was it 29 or 30? Because 29 and 30 have a connection. Yeah. I think it was 29 and 30, actually. Because 29 talks about Jacob arriving in Padaram. Yeah. Because I think I read 30 today. Yes. So it's like 29 and 30. So Genesis 29 and 30, basically. Where we see, basically Jacob was in search of a wife. And so he went to Padaram to go meet up with his, I believe it's his uncle. Let's see, I'm reading here. You know what? We're just going to read chapter 29 so we can have like a full scope of the story. And then I could kind of talk about what I kind of learned in 30. So yeah, chapter 29 of Genesis. Let's kind of read through it quickly and then we can kind of go from there. So it says, Then Jacob hurried on, finally arriving in the land of the east. He saw a well in the distance, 3 flocks of sheep and goats. In the distance, 3 flocks of sheep and goats lay in an open field beside it, waiting to be watered. But a heavy stone covered the mouth of the well. It was the custom there to wait for all the flocks to arrive before removing the stone and watering the animals. Afterward, the stone would be placed back over the mouth of the well. Jacob went over to the shepherds and asked, Where are you from, my friends? We are from Haran, they answered. Do you know a man there named Laban, the grandson of Nahor? He asked. Yes, we do, they replied. Is he doing well? Jacob asked. Yes, he's well, they answered. Look, here he comes with his daughter Rachel with the flock now. Jacob said, Look, it's still broad daylight, too early to round up the animals. Why don't you water the sheep and goats so they can get back out to pasture? We can't water the animals until all the flocks have arrived, they replied. Then the shepherds moved the stone from the mouth of the well, and we water all the sheep and goats. Jacob was still talking with them when Rachel arrived with her father's flock, for she was a shepherd. Because Rachel was his cousin, the daughter of Laban, his mother's brother, and because the sheep and goats belonged to his uncle Laban, Jacob went over to the well and moved the stone from its mouth and watered his uncle's flock. Then Jacob kissed Rachel, and he wept aloud. He explained to Rachel that he was her cousin on her father's side, the son of her aunt, Rebekah. So Rachel quickly ran and told her father Laban. As soon as Laban heard that his nephew Jacob had arrived, he ran out to meet him. He embraced and kissed him and brought him home. When Jacob had told him his story, Laban exclaimed, You really are my flesh and blood. After Jacob had stayed with Laban for about a month, Laban said to him, You shouldn't work for me without pay just because we are relatives. Tell me how much your wages should be. Now Laban had 2 daughters. The older daughter was named Leah, and the younger one was named Rachel. There was no sparkle in Leah's eyes, but Rachel had a beautiful figure and a lovely face. Since Jacob was in love with Rachel, he told her father, I'll work for you for 7 years if you'll give me Rachel, your younger daughter, as my wife. Agreed, Laban replied. I'd rather give her to you than anyone else. Stay and work with me. So Jacob worked 7 years to pay for Rachel, but his love for her was so strong that it seemed to him but a few days. That's crazy. Finally, the time came for him to marry her. I have fulfilled my agreement, Jacob said to Laban. Now give me my wife so I can sleep with her. So Laban invited everyone in the neighborhood and prepared a wedding feast. But that night, when it was dark, Laban took Leah to Jacob, and he slept with her. Laban had given Leah a servant, Zilpah, to be her maid. When Jacob woke up in the morning, it was Leah. What have you done to me? Jacob raged at. What have you done to me? Jacob raged at Laban. I worked 7 years for Rachel. Why have you tricked me? It's not our custom here to marry off a younger daughter ahead of the firstborn, Laban replied. But wait until the bridal week is over. Then we'll give you Rachel too, provided you promise to work another 7 years for me. So Jacob agreed to work 7 more years. A week after Jacob married Leah, Laban gave him Rachel too. Laban gave Rachel a servant Bilhah to be her maid. So Jacob slept with Rachel too, and he loved her much more than Leah. Wow. He then stayed and worked for Laban for an additional 7 years. When the Lord saw that Leah was unloved, he enabled her to have children, but Rachel could not conceive. So Leah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Reuben, for she said, "The Lord has noticed my misery, and now my husband will love me." She soon became pregnant again and gave birth to another son. She named him Simon, for she said, "The Lord heard that I was unloved and has given me another son." Then she became pregnant a third time and gave birth to another son. He was named Levi, for she said, "Surely this time my husband will feel affection for me, since I have given him 3 sons." Once again, Leah became pregnant and gave birth to another son. She named him Judah, for she said, "Now I will praise the Lord." And then she stopped having children. Selah. That is chapter 29 in Genesis, really talking about the story of Jacob, essentially how he met his 2 wives. I mean, this story is absolutely crazy. I mean, if we go to even Genesis 30, it kind of talks about how, I think in this case where Rachel was which point it said Rachel was able to give him children? Yeah, Rachel was able to give children to Isaac in this case. And then it also talked about like Jacob's wealth increases. Basically in this case, Jacob wanted to, he wanted to leave. He kind of wanted to get out of the situation with Laban. So he talked with Laban, kind of telling him like what he wanted to like take before he left. And it was basically like along the lines of like taking particular sheep, things of that nature. And yeah, that was basically that part of Jacob's story. I think what I wanted to like focus on is kind of like a part that the study Bible kind of highlighted, which was it kind of talks about this in chapter 30. And so it says, and this was just like a summary of like verses 25 to 43 in chapter 30. And it says, God always treated Jacob far better than he deserved. God blessed him in spite of his trickery and deceit. Often God works that way with us too. He blesses us when we don't really deserve it. None of us really deserves God's love. All of us have failed in many ways. But God still reaches out to help us when we look to him in faith. And when I read this today, I think that's what really resonated with me. The fact that, here is Jacob now. Jacob, stole, number one, he stole his brother's blessing off rip. I mean, frankly, because, Isaac's wife kind of told him to do so. But it was just like he stole his brother's blessing. So that was deceitful already. He tricked Abraham, that's number one. And so this was basically saying how like, even though he did that, and even though, he went through this situation with Leah and Rachel, God still blessed him abundantly. Like, even when he finally got out, like, all the deceit and trickery of his uncle Laban, he was still able to get a bunch of sheep and goats and large flocks and so many different things. And so, I sometimes say, and I'm trying to remember what one of my pastors said, but I sometimes say like, I don't really deserve all the blessings that I get at times. I could be, I feel like sometimes that I'm just like, man, I'm overwhelmed. Like, why has the Lord blessed me so much? And maybe we all feel the same way. Like, there are some times where we know like we're in the wrong, or we kind of drifted away from God, and we're just like, man, like I don't really deserve all these blessings that the Lord has provided. And I think that that's true. I think a lot of the times, we fall off the path, and a lot of times we're not really focused on God. And, a lot of times we just don't take in what we already have. And so I think that sometimes, like, man, like, why does the Lord, like, bless us so much, But I think that's because he's such a merciful God to us. And, he sees us. And, even though some days are hard, like, he really sees that we're trying. And so I think it's an absolute blessing to know that even when we don't deserve it, the Lord is still going to bless us. I mean, I'm not saying that Jacob didn't deserve his blessing, but he did trick his father and steal his older brother's blessing, right? In the earlier chapters in Genesis. And it's just like, even with that, he was still blessed with the woman that he wanted to be with. And I guess the woman that he didn't want to be with as well. But he was still blessed in so many ways. And I think we could really, take a lesson from that. Is that, even when we don't deserve it, the Lord will bless us, within reason, of course. I think, and that kind of goes back to kind of like in Ecclesiastes, where it says, like, his plans, like, beautiful in his own time. In his own time, Jacob was blessed. Instead of being able to marry Rachel in 7 years like he wanted, he was able to marry her after 14 years, because as we said, and as the scripture kind of says, he had to work an additional 7 years in order to finally marry the girl, well, he frankly he actually wanted to be with. And so, that's just such an amazing thing. God's timing is always the best timing. And even though we may not deserve every single blessing that he has for us, he's still going to bless us. And that's such a beautiful thing, man. I was very, like, grateful to hear that today. And I was just like, what a amazing point to kind of remember and kind of be reminded of, right? Like, God will bless us in his own time. And even though we don't deserve it at times, he's still so gracious and merciful to us. And so I think we can kind of take that today and kind of go with that. And that was just something that kind of stuck to me today. Apologies for kind of the mix-up. But we got there in the end. And so that's just such an amazing lesson to learn. And yeah, that was such a beautiful thing that was kind of reminded today. And I think just one last thing I kind of want to ask the Talking to Myself community, and I definitely want a response on this. As we go into this holiday season, obviously, there's one thing that you could really talk about. Well, I guess the main thing, and obviously that's the birth of Jesus, that's the Christmas story. So would it be repetitive, and this is a genuine question, would it be repetitive for me to talk about the story, in the next few episodes for Christmas? Let me know. I think maybe next week we will, unless something really comes to me as I go through Genesis, we will be talking about the Christmas story and kind of just reading over that. I just don't want it to be too repetitive in the sense of, talking the same story over and over. But of course, it's an important story, right? So yeah, let me know what you think. But definitely remember from today's story that, even though in the case of Jacob, even though he frankly didn't deserve a lot of the blessings that he got, that's just the God we serve. And so that's just an amazing thing. So I think we'll wrap it up there, man. I just want to say thank you all for listening to this episode today. Always good to have this mic in my hand. Always good to talk with y'all and talk to myself. But it's such an amazing thing, and I just want to say thank you once again. Going into the holiday season, we got a lot of things in store, so I can't wait to take y'all on this journey with me. Tila, thank you so much for listening. I hope you all have an amazing week, an amazing weekend. And until the next one, I'm going to see you all later. We move!